Welcome back to the most inconsistent series on the channel, the weekly playlist turned monthly. A lot of music has come out recently. I didn't realize how much had come out until I actually put together like my Apple Music playlist and looked. But shit, I know a lot of y'all are going through a tough time right now, and I just want to say, at the end of the day, if you're going through a tough time, no matter what's stacked against you, no matter how many things you feel like are on you, just remember that you got to keep going, because at the end of it all, you got to face me, and I hate you most of all. God bless you. Now to get into the songs playlist, first one I want to mention is definitely the DJ Mustard Perfect 10 album, which is anything but a perfect 10 as a complete project. But you know, if you skip past that, there are some highlights here. I really actually surprisingly enjoy the one, I think, Baguettes with Nav and Playboy Cardi. Playboy Cardi being the highlight. Playboy Cardi has actually been growing on me recently. I'm kind of scared, and I'm really excited for that Playboy Cardi X Trippy Red collab tape that they're going to be dropping hopefully soon. I don't know why, I just feel like I'm really going to like it. No, I'm not jumping on the Cardi bandwagon now. It's just, fuck. The track that's narrated by Nipsey Hussle is just so surreal. It's so heartwarming. It's so instructional. I love Nipsey's voice. It's so calming. It's soothing. It's kind of reassuring in a way, even though he's passed on. It's just really hopeful, you know? And I just, listening to that just gives me hope. It's not something that's like this insane catchiness to it, but it's cool. It's like a nice little mantra. But that segues me from that into the next artist that I wanted to just briefly touch on, which is One Take J. And this dude is like the good version of Blueface. A lot of people give Blueface's credit for this new style. It's just so odd, but it's not. I mean, it's been in the Bay Area forever. And if you really want to get intricate or detailed about it, you can say it links all the way back to E40 with his flow, even though Blueface can't ride a beat to save his life. That's usually where it kind of comes from, the Bay Area. And when I listen to One Take J, that eccentricity in his voice, that kind of novelty rap in a way where it's really just, I don't know, really based off punchline and not really based off concept, but also has a really eccentric flow and really animated voice. I just love it so much. So I went back to check out some of One Take J's older material because he was featured on DJ Mustard's Perfect 10 album. And I gotta say, I found some bops.
Bitch, like a jailbird, I bet she
Come back.
Finesse game, like I'm moving work, I had to set traps, cause nigga, all my ex bitches was fucking rats. I need my ass was even touching that.
This guy, I love him. Y'all know I'm into Detroit and West Coast rap, so this is just really right up my alley. And speaking of Detroit again, we got T Grizzley with his new album. Forgot the name of it completely, but another artist that kind of carries that similar flow and that similar pattern. I really enjoy some of the cuts off this new one, even though the album as a whole didn't really impress me. A lot of the beats surprisingly came from Timbaland, and they were really underwhelming because of the lack of actual personality they had. They could have easily, in my opinion, been produced by anybody else, and I not known that they were produced by Timbaland. I don't know why it sounds like that. Don't really feel like he did much with the instrumentals that he was given, but I guess there's only so much you can do with these kind of bare bone beats. Really fucked with Sweet Things.
And I ain't split shit with them. You free game. I'm done giving passes to these sweet things. Catch you coming off the jeweler, get a free chain. Make you buy this bitch back for double what you paid. Rob whoever with them, bitch.
Post Malone and Young Thug with their new track Goodbyes. I know a lot of people wanted me to do a first listen to this track, but y'all don't know I actually heard this track like a month before it was actually released. I don't remember under what name on Apple Music it was under, but I ended up hearing it a long time ago. And yeah, kind of spoiled it for myself back then. Only thing that they changed really was the mixing and added some snares right before the chorus. But I really enjoyed this track. I knew from the first time I heard it that it was going to be a bop. It was going to be a hit. Young Thug was really animated as usual. I really liked his contribution. Post Malone came with another hit. I really enjoyed this track, honestly. The music videos for it pretty cool. And yeah, vocally, I think Post Malone is really present on this track. The hook is really catchy and really addicting. I don't know what else I kind of want from this thing. It's pretty good. And it's pretty woozy and pretty spacey, too. Somebody else from Jaden Smith. Now, I know a lot of people got on me because they didn't like the fact that I thought that Iris was just a boring project, because it was. And you don't have to agree with that. That's fine. Whatever your taste may be or wherever they may lie. But somebody else is just one of those moments of innocence and complete authenticity that I felt from Jaden Smith. I felt like he was actually going through a heartbreak. I felt like he was actually experiencing something emotional. I felt like he was actually exposing a bit of his own identity. Nothing shrouded in some kind of concept or any kind of thing that's supposed to give you this interpretation of him that he's this out-of-body experience as a human being. I really felt like he was tapping into his own emotion here, and he actually used his own singing voice. And again, that's okay. It's not the greatest singing voice, but it's his. And I like that it's just so raw.
Love, I need somebody else.
Right out of Dreamville, we got Cozz in Reason on LamboTruck. After listening to Dreamville's Revenge of the Dreamers 3, I'll be honest with y'all, I don't really like it as much as I did initially. I don't really find myself going back to that many tracks off of it. The one that I really did enjoy now in retrospect that I felt actually had that like strong cohesive theme and kind of narrative was when Cozz was showing appreciation to TDE and kind of jealousy in a way, because he feels like he wasn't getting the recognition from Cole. And I like how that's put into the track, because, you know, Reason's over there at TDE's eating, and then he's like, hey, shit, man, Cole look like you doing some shit over here. Let's rob Cole. You don't want to rob Cole? You rob Top, I'll rob Cole. We should be cool with that, right? I just love the way it's kind of like a joint togetherness from artists that are clearly smaller but still have respect for the people that put them on. And Reason's delivery is hungry as usual. Cozz's delivery is hungry. They both seem like they're aspiring. They both seem like they're really hungry for it. PALMOLIVE with Killer Mike and Pusha T, the Freddie, Gibbs, and Madlib new project. I know a lot of people are saying that they loved PINATA way more. I'm definitely on that side. I can see where that's coming from, where people are coming from when they say that. Because as a guy that's kind of paid attention to the, I guess, love that Madlib and Freddie Gibbs as a duo have received due to PINATA over the last 5 years, over the last, you know, really 3 years since I've listened to it. I gotta say that Bandana definitely isn't trying to be a follow-up or a sequel. But that's what to me makes it so great, is because it's still a strong follow-up despite the fact that it completely kind of deviates from the path that PINATA did. Even though I know a lot of people are going to say like, oh, it still has some soul samples, still has some really interesting loops. We still get very eclectic production from Madlib still. There's just so much less going on here, and there's so much more space for Freddie Gibbs to kind of steal the show too. Madlib kind of taking a little bit more of a backseat, a little bit more of a minimalist approach with his production. Kind of gives the samples that he uses on this project a lot more room to breathe to me. They don't seem so much more cluttered and so much less spacious to me. So while, yeah, I do agree that PINATA to me is a slightly better album, I can't say that Bandana, it not being a preferred album, I could still see someone saying Bandana is better than PINATA for them.
Oh, money, mathematics, nigga, po-po. They summon for your money, nigga, stay low. I mean low, like low money, nigga.
I heard a lot of people complaining about Killer Mike being only on the hook, but I didn't think that he needed a verse. Honestly, I know that it's something that you would want him to do on a track like this, but I don't think he was needed on anything else. Granted, he could have easily taken the spot, you know, in front of that anti-vax line from Freddie Gibbs, but still, I really enjoyed his contribution to the hook. I didn't feel like he needed to be anywhere else. And that reminds me of Thuggin' from 2014, PINATA. Instantly, when I heard this track, I instantly wanted to go back to Thuggin'. I just love that track too, so if you haven't heard Thuggin', go ahead and check that out. Definitely another twangy sample that's looped in the background. I love it. Go check out Thuggin' too. Daniel Caesar came out with a new album, and I know a lot of people wanted me to cover it in some capacity. I just didn't have interest to. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, well, it's probably because you canceled him like everyone else." I didn't cancel him. I don't care about that. It's just the music here is just so much less interesting. It's so much more minimal. Comparing it to Freudian, which I know a lot of people don't like to do, but to me, that was his starlight. It's kind of what introduced a lot of people to him. I felt like he had a lot more vocal personality there. And on this project, some of the instrumentals are so much more stripped back. Pair that with a much more colder, rigid delivery from Daniel Caesar himself, as opposed to the really warm, really lush kind of atmosphere that was on Freudian, paired with Daniel Caesar actually giving a very strong vocal performance back then. I don't feel like this album compares in the slightest, and it's just really a lukewarm listen to me. Yes, one could say that Daniel Caesar is taking a less serious approach to this project, but in all honesty, I don't think that that's what needs to happen. It easily could have been like a mixtape or some kind of EP with fewer songs. I think a lot of the duration kills some of the replay value for some of these songs too. But the songs that I do like, they kind of give Daniel Caesar a bit more of a badass image as opposed to the kind of humble figure that he presented on Freudian. So one of the tracks that I really do enjoy is the one with Pharrell, especially, where Daniel Caesar again is talking about the changes that he's experienced and kind of the new way of how he's handling his relationship. Anonymuz has a new West Side freestyle that came out. I saw this teased a couple weeks ago. And I actually, for some reason, had no expectation for him to put this on streaming platforms. And he actually fucking did, so thumbs up for that. I don't know why. He's got a lot more personality in this track. He feels a lot more over it, like a much more dominant presence over this track. There's some really heavy drums, which y'all know I'm a fan of. I'm a bass hoe, so that's really cool. He doesn't seem as stiff on this single either. I don't know if I could really call it a single as it's a freestyle, but he doesn't really seem as, you know, as tight. You know, it's a little bit more loose, a little bit more, all right, I'm kind of in my zone.
And on west side and the east side in this bitch. West side and the east side in this shit.
Don't get me wrong, he's still pronouncing his words with perfect accuracy, but there is some looseness here, and it flows really naturally, and I like that. More like this, not necessarily the bass heaviness, because I know not everybody wants to explore that all the time, but shit like this, it just sounds really free and really loose. I like it. Y'all know how I feel about Yellow from Rich Brian. Go check out my review, my initial reaction to that song if you haven't heard it already. That'll explain pretty much everything about why I love this track. But yeah, everything about it. From start to finish, this is a roller coaster. It's a story that builds in the song, and it's worth the runtime, which I did not expect coming into it at all. But this song is definitely getting me excited for his new album coming out July 26th. And yeah, I'm definitely looking out for that one. Year Bourne came out with an album. I forgot the name of it as well. I didn't like it, but I like the intro song, Poof. I thought that was cool. Pretty much, if you like Pierre Bourne, you like him mainly, in my opinion, for his instrumental palette. Because, in all honesty, as far as a rapper is concerned, he ain't it. Dude is honestly less interesting to me on the mic than Cardi is, and that's saying something. But again, if you're going to this album strictly for the beats and strictly for the instrumentals, then I think you'll find some things here that you'll like. That's pretty much why I like the initial track. And also the initial track, I think, flows into a transition in the track as well. That's another reason why I really like it. Wish we had a more interesting rapper on this. I really do. Someone with a little bit more vocal personality, like maybe a Trippie Redd, or actually a fucking Playboy Cardi. E40 came out with a track featuring Roddy Ricch, Quavo, ScHoolboy Q, ASAP Ferg. I think that's it.
Places that you can't get away that I be pushing on that Hellcat. Look at me, bitch. Look at the way I carry myself. Look at the way I'm moving.
It's surprisingly good. Despite this many features, I really like Quavo's contribution. Roddy Ricch is pretty cool on this track. All of it's good. I don't think ScHoolboy Q gave me the most entertaining voice. Neither did ASAP Ferg. Honestly, I think I got the most enjoyment out of E40's verse. But that being the case, like, none of their verses were particularly bad in any capacity. But it wasn't like anything great, nothing to write home about. But the track itself, I think it works with this many people on it. And I definitely enjoy Roddy Ricch and E40 doing their thing on the hook. I just think that's great. Benny the Butcher came out with a new album as well, titled The Plugs I Met. I don't know if this was actually an EP. I think this was an EP. I really enjoyed this one too. Intro track with Black Thought, or the second track with Black Thought, I really enjoyed. Two rap geniuses kind of going off. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of drug references from Benny the Butcher here. Nothing really changed in that capacity, but on that opener, man, did this dude go off. And the intro, honestly, is kind of what explains a lot of Benny's career to me, because it starts off with this kind of wolf metaphor for the way the U.S. kind of put drugs in the hands of disadvantaged people in America. Do you blame the wolf for licking the blade that was put in the ice by the natives, or do you blame the people that put the blade in the ice? Like, do you blame the wolf for trying to eat and trying to survive, or do you blame the people that put the ice there? And that's kind of like a metaphor for Benny and a lot of drug dealers in general. Is like, do you blame them for trying to survive in their environment, or do you blame the people that put the drugs in their hands in the first place? Like, I get that it's a destroyer of the community as well, but it's like, it's survival of the fittest. And I don't know if that's a slight, kind of trying to rationalize why things are the way they are, or why this is kind of what he knows. It definitely isn't a justification, but I definitely think more people probably reason with it if they understood that it's more survival, more instinctive than I just want to go out and just fuck up everything. So I definitely enjoy this entire EP here. Also, Pouya with 6 Speed featuring Juicy J. Again, Pouya's been on one. I still love this Superman is Dead track. Still listen to that to this day. Go check that one out if you haven't. Also, check out Goldlink's new album as well, Diaspora. A lot of bops on there that I enjoyed as well. It's been a pretty interesting year for music so far, or at least singles. But that's all I got. Songs playlist, July, whatever the fuck day it is. And I'll see y'all next time, man. You go ahead and do all that nice stuff in the comment section down below and leave your playlist too, what you've been listening to. Give me some new shit, because I'm always open. My ears are always open. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and I think I'm out now. ASAP Rocky's still slipping on semen in the Swedish jail, but I mean, let's hope for the best.